this is Kelly. Today I'm going to talk about books, and I'm going to give you book recommendations that you can read throughout your pregnancy and beyond. And the reason I'm going to do this is because, well, I like to know. I don't know if you're as curious as I am, but I am quite a curious person, and a good way of finding out things is to read. Anyway, so you're pregnant, right? You just found out. Oh, joy, happiness. So the first set of books that you want to have in your bookshelf or right next to your bed are books on what is going on in there, right? So there are two books that I have, and the first one is What to Expect. And you know what? It was an okay book in my for me. It really goes week by week and tells you what's going on, and it gives you recommendations of what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should ask your doctor. So it's a very, very basic book. Now, if you have, for example, the app, there is a What to Expect app, then it's basically the same. So a lot of people like it. I thought it was a little bit boring. Instead, I have this one, the Mayo Clinic Guide to a Healthy Pregnancy. And I like this one better. It was more scientific, and that's because I'm a little bit more science prone. So I enjoyed it much more. Again, it goes week by week and tells you what's going on inside the belly and what's going on with your body and how much more blood you have inside in your body, like 40% more, and where like all the body weight that you're gaining, like where is it all going to, and if the baby's just weighing this much. Anyway, I really enjoyed that one. And I have these two other pregnancy books. Well, this one is in Spanish, but it's a translation, and it has pictures of what is happening inside the womb. And not for everyone. I think it's incredible. It's really, really amazing to see pictures like this and be like, oh my God, that's happening inside me. There's a baby. That's a baby dragon in my body. And I just think it's so yeah, a book like this I enjoyed. Maybe not everyone. This is another one that's very, very similar, and it's also it's much more scientific, and it's also a picture book, right? So you have these. Now this one is very special. This one I got from my mother. She had this book while she was pregnant with me and my siblings, so it's kind of a passing it on kind of thing. Now these are like the basic pregnancy books. Now, what happens beyond the pregnancy, or if you want to know more, there are so many myths and so many people tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And I found this book was recommended to me, Expecting Better, and I really enjoyed it, by Emily Oster. And in this book, she's curiouser than I am, and she actually went in and did research in all the myths and what everybody tells you should do and you shouldn't do, and found the scientific research. And then she says, okay, coffee, should you drink coffee, should you not drink coffee, why do doctors say you shouldn't drink? And then she puts all the evidence out there, and every woman can make her own decisions according to what she researches. So I found it very useful because, again, I have a scientific mind, and I like to know, very specifically, like, oh, I'm not supposed to, I don't know, jump up and down. I'm just giving a crazy example. Why is it, right? I want to know very specifically why I'm not allowed to do that. Now, this other book I really enjoyed, Your Best Pregnancy. And it's the ultimate guide to easing the aches, pains, and uncomfortable side effects. Now, I've had a lot of aches and pains and uncomfortable side effects in this pregnancy. They tell you how to relieve some of those, and it's useful. It's by a PT. It's useful to a certain degree. It depends on how uncomfortable you are. So, but something like this could be useful. So that's the first set of books, right? These are the pregnancy books. Now, what happens after pregnancy? How about baby? Yeah, right? A lot of women just, listen to their midwives and doctors and just go for it and are think that their body will tell them what to do. Again, I like to be informed, and I like to know what's happening, and I like to know what options I have and what I should do and what I shouldn't do. So for this, I have two books. Now this one is becoming kind of my Bible, Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. She also has a documentary out there and even a TED Talk. She's amazing. She's this group of midwives. She like revolutionized midwifery in the U.S. And she's what she talks about, and what I really really enjoyed about this book was that she gives you a perspective, a very different perspective on what it is that giving birth is. So of course it hurts, and of course there are certain scary aspects to it, but our bodies are designed to do that. So she just gives this whole other view, and it could be like an old school view, which is new school, on how to give birth to a healthy child and remain a healthy mother without an episiotomy, with epidural or without epidural, depending on your own decision, on the fact that like C-sections are on the rise when they shouldn't be. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a wonderful, wonderful book, and I would highly recommend it, whether you're planning on having a natural birth or not. That is completely your decision, but I would highly recommend it. Now, the other one is Birthing from Within. I love the title, and it's, again, gives you a lot of emphasis on a different view on childbirth and what you're supposed to do during labor, after labor, how different cultures do it, and of course giving advice in positions, in breathing, and it's just, again, just wonderful. And both books, the Ina May and this one, of how to really be aware of your own body in this most incredible journey and most difficult. It's the most difficult thing that human beings do, that women do, is to produce a human inside your body and then like expel it and take it out. So that's so these two books I think are quite helpful, and they take the scary out of labor, and that I think is super important, and I think it's wonderful. So, okay, so now you have your baby. So now what do you do? So then there's the third set of books. And the third set of books would include something like this. So this is The New Basics by Michelle Cohen. And it's how to take care of your tiny human. Now you have a tiny human out there. What do you do with it? So a book like this, you can get this one. You can get there's so many books like this one in the market. It really depends on what you are looking for and what your kind of philosophy is. If you're more naturopath, or if you're more holistic, or you're more, or you're less holistic, and telling you from sleeping patterns, like how should babies sleep, how should they eat, how often should you bathe them, vaccines, how they work, and why you should vaccinate them, and what all they do, and what you should expect from doctor's visits, and so on and so forth. So that is a book that you should have in your bookshelf. Another one, I'm enjoying this one, The Happiest Baby on the Block. It was recommended to me, and it's also it's very it's advice. It's very simple advice on what to do with your child, and how to soothe, and how to calm, and how to feed, and it's a quick read. All of these books, which I think is fantastic. You're like, well, how do you have all the time to read all these books? Well, you read them little by little. You don't need to like sit down and read them all through. You go by as your belly develops, or as your child develops. You are reading, or you look up. It's like, oh, I'm having trouble with sleep, so you look up that chapter, and that's what you read, right? Another amazing book for your tiny human out there is The Anthropology of Childhood, and this one is It's an incredible book on how humans, well, rear children up and take care of babies all around the world and throughout history and different cultures. And basically teaches you how no matter what you do, you will always mess up your child. And you will always love your child, and you will always do what as best as you can. So it creates an amazing perspective, and I think that's important when you know, sleepless and you don't know what you're doing. And this other book for those times is what's going on in there, how the brain and mind develop in the first 5 years of life. Because although, you know, your child is outside, your baby dragon or your tiny human is out in the world, it continues to develop. Especially the first 5 years are so important in brain development. But children's brains don't work the same as adult brains, so you need to figure out, or rather you need somebody to tell you how it is that their brains are working, and what you should do to stimulate, or how, just giving you a perspective to understand what's going on. Why are they cranky? What's up with the tantrums? How can they sleep so long, or why do they need so many naps? And how it is that they see the world, and how learning new words and new concepts changes their perspective on the world. So this is another book. This was given to me by a very, very dear friend. And yeah, that's it. I think I will be discovering many other books as this one develops. And I'll be very happy to share them with you. I'm sorry, this video is much longer than the others, but I think we got through a lot. So please don't forget to comment below, and please subscribe to my channel, Awoken Beauty. Remember, all the videos are both in Spanish and in English, so if you have Spanish-speaking friends and they want to see the same video, so just send them the other link. Or if you want to learn Spanish, or are thinking about delving into the language, why not watch all the videos in Spanish, and then you switch from English to Spanish, and that way you can get like more perspective and stuff. Yeah, that's it. I'm Kelly, and see you next time. Bye.